It stands as one of the most recognizable buildings on Earth, a sculptural masterpiece of concrete and tile that transformed a nation's identity. Yet more than 50 years after its grand opening, engineers still labor within its iconic shells, attempting to solve problems that have plagued it since day one. Is the Sydney Opera House actually finished, or is it perpetually incomplete? Jørn Utzon, the Danish architect who conceived this revolutionary structure, never saw it completed, never walked through its halls, and never heard music performed beneath its soaring sails. This is the story of an architectural revolution that cost its revolutionary everything, a building that broke budgets, political careers, and ultimately its creator's spirit. In 1956, Sydney launched an international competition to design an opera house on the Bellelong Point. The competition attracted 233 entries from 32 countries, most featuring conservative, rectangular structures that would have been immediately recognizable to any mid-century architect. Entry 218 consisted of just 12 simple drawings from Danish architect Jørn Utzon. They depicted massive concrete shells rising like billowing sails above a monumental platform. Nothing like it had ever been built before. The jury initially placed Utzon's radical design in the rejection pile. They had dismissed the curved shells as looking like a bunch of nuns' hats. But when Finnish-American architect Eero Saarinen arrived late to the judging, he immediately recognized its genius. "This is the one," he reportedly declared. In January 1957, a judging panel unanimously awarded first prize to Utzon. Their report praised his concept capable of becoming one of the great buildings of the world. What no one yet realized was that the means to construct those curved, freeform shells simply did not exist. The technology, the mathematical formulas, even the construction methods would have to be invented from scratch. March 1st, 1959. Ground is broken at Bellelong Point. There's just one problem: no one knows how to build it. Construction began in stages. A massive concrete platform went ahead while engineers grappled with the roof's seemingly impossible geometry. By 1961, the podium was complete, but costs had already tripled. The most difficult challenge, the shells, still loomed ahead. After multiple failed approaches, Utzon had his breakthrough in 1961. While contemplating an orange that he was peeling, he realized that all the shells could be derived from sections of a single sphere. This spherical solution meant the shells could be formed as segments of the same geometric shape. Engineers used one of the earliest applications of computer modeling to analyze the stresses. Giant concrete ribs were pre-cast in on-site factories, then hoisted into place by custom-built cranes. Even the building's skin required innovation. Over 1 million custom-made ceramic tiles with two slightly different glazes, nicknamed snow and ice, created the Opera House's distinctive shimmer. By 1965, the Opera House's distinctive profile was emerging from its scaffolding. The shells that experts had declared impossible were rising above Sydney Harbour, but the triumph came at a cost. 6 years in, the project was years behind schedule and millions over budget. In May 1965, a new government took power in New South Wales. They had complained explicitly on controlling the Opera House's spiralling costs. A collision between artistic vision and political reality was about to change everything. In 1965, the Opera House had transformed from national pride to political liability. The original budget had exploded nearly fourfold with no end in sight. The new Minister for Public Works, Davis Hughes, was determined to rein in the project. While Utzon had moved on to design the complex interior spaces, Hughes refused to release funds for prototypes of the innovative plywood ceiling beams and glass walls. February 28, 1966, Utzon arrived at Hughes' office hoping for a resolution. The meeting lasts just 15 minutes. "If I don't get the support I need, I will have to resign," Utzon reportedly warns. Hughes dismissively replies, "You are always threatening to quit." That afternoon, Utzon writes his resignation letter. By evening, Hughes announces to Parliament that the architect of the Sydney Opera House has quit. The resignation triggers unprecedented public outcry. Over 1,000 people march on Parliament. Prominent architects, artists and writers demand Utzon's reinstatement, but the government stands firm. On April 28, 1966, Utzon and his family depart Australia. Before leaving, he tells colleagues he expects to be invited back when they realize they can't finish it without him. He would never return to Australia. The government appoints a team of Australian architects to complete the Opera House. Without Utzon's guiding vision, the interiors are completely redesigned. The main hall, originally intended for both opera and concerts, is permanently converted into a symphony hall. The opera must move to a smaller second theatre. The building that would become Australia's greatest icon would have to be completed without its creator, and Jørn Utzon would never see his vision realised. October 20th, 1973, Queen Elizabeth II officially opens the Sydney Opera House 14 years after construction began at 14 times the original budget. 1 million people gather to witness the event, but Jørn Utzon, the man who conceived this architectural wonder, watches none of it. The completed building is a compromise. While Utzon's magnificent exterior shells stand intact, the interiors bear little resemblance to his original vision. The acoustic problems are particularly severe. Musicians cannot properly hear each other on stage. Opera singers strain to project over the orchestra. In a cruel irony, the building designed to elevate musical performance actually hinders it. Yet, as the controversy fades, the Opera House begins to capture the public imagination. By the 1980s, it has become the defining image of Australia. The structure, once derided as an expensive folly, now embraced as a national treasure. Meanwhile, Utzon rebuilds his life in Europe. He never speaks publicly about the pain of his forced departure. In a belated recognition of his genius, Utzon is awarded architecture's highest honour, the Pritzker Prize in 2003. After delicate negotiations in 1999, 33 years after his resignation, Jørn Utzon is re-engaged as a design consultant for the Opera House. At 81 years old, he develops design principles to guide all future renovations, working through his son Jan, who acts as his representative on site. In 2004, the former reception hall is renovated to Utzon's design and renamed Utzon Room. "I don't think you could give me more joy as the architect," Utzon said of his naming. "It supersedes any medal of any kind that I could get." Yet the building's journey continues. In 2015, the Opera House announces a $275 million renewal project. The concert hall closes in 2020 for a comprehensive acoustic overhaul, finally addressing the problems that had plagued musicians for decades. When the renovated concert hall reopened in 2022, performers note significant improvement. After half a century, the Sydney Opera House is finally approaching the acoustic quality its iconic exterior had always promised. In 2007, the Opera House is inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List as a daring, visionary experiment. Utzon passed away the following year, having never returned to see his masterpiece in person. In answering our opening question, is the Sydney Opera House still unfinished? Perhaps we find a deeper truth. Great architecture is never truly complete. It exists in dialogue with its users, its environment, and time itself. The ongoing acoustic refinements aren't evidence of failure, but a building still alive, still reaching toward perfection. The Sydney Opera House reminds us that our great achievements often come through pain and persistence, that beauty can emerge from conflict. What began as man's audacious dream emerged through controversy to become a monument not just to architecture, but to human creativity itself. The building that broke its architect eventually healed that wound, proving that great art can transcend politics, personalities, and time, a sail forever caught in the wind of human aspiration. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video and would like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. That stuff really helps the channel out. And if you have a friend that you think would also like this video, please feel free to send it their way. If you have any video topics you'd like us to cover in the future, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.